Prayer is a real thing, you know. Every time we pray, even when we think we don't get a response, God hears us every time. If we don't get, even if when we don't get a response, you know. And the thing is, Israel, right? I want to pray for Israel because this world is jacked up, you know. This world is jacked up. This whole world is basically ran by people that don't know God. All like everybody's on the path to God, but nobody knows God. You know what I mean? And that's the problem with this world. So I'm going to pray for Israel. I'm going to ask that you know, pray also. However you pray, pray also, you know. And what the prayer is going to be is, it's been about 3,500 years since someone's earned the name Israel, you know, so that the land of Israel could exist. And since then, the teachings of Israel, Jacob, who earned the name Israel, he was a prophet who searched for God's laws and whatnot to rule the people, and that's what he did. And because of that, he was a prophet who ruled. He had divine wisdom. He was able to communicate with God. He was Israel, you know? And after that, all those classes and all those teachings got lost in time, you know? Some still remains, but it's warped by time, what remains, you know? Israel just doesn't exist right now. You know? Israel's teachings are gone. Israel's teachings are gone, and for Israel to exist, we need someone with divine wisdom to basically rule the people, you know? So I'm going to pray for this whole planet, to include the country Israel, you know? But here too and everywhere else, you know? But I'm going to pray for this whole planet, all around the planet, everywhere. Even that island off India where they'll murder you if you try to show up, you know? Of those tribal people living there. I'm going to pray for the whole planet. If it's they follow the Abrahamic religions, they call themselves a prophet when they connect to the divine, you know? If they call themselves a Buddhist, they call themselves a Buddha when they connect to the divine, you know? If they're native, they call themselves a native or a shaman when they connect to the divine, you know what I mean? And same with everything else around the world. I'm not going to get all into it, you know? But the thing is, when somebody who's connected to the divine and searches for our God's law to rule the people, and they rule, and then they you know, rule the people with God's law. They rule the people with God's law, you know? That's the definition of the word Israel, you know? So I'm going to pray that whatever God's plan is, you know, that's what it is. I know that. But I'm just going to pray that God's will be done so that Israel can exist all over the world, everywhere. So that every leader can connect to the divine. Gain the instinctive education this planet offers. You know, ask all the right questions, do all the meditating, all that stuff. And then, you know, walk the instinctive straight path that, you know, leads to the divine. And then, basically search for our Creator's laws, you know. And then rule the people whatever country they want to call it, or whatever place on earth they want to call it, you know? Because, hey, Israel could be a whole country, or it could be a single person's house. One person's house. If they follow God's laws, that house is Israel. That house is Israel, you know? And look at like this, the Jewish tribe, they're scattered around the earth, you know? After Israel collapsed in on itself and, you know, the tribe scattered around the earth. If any of those people in the tribe, you know, finished the instinctive path to God and connected to the divine as the prophet did in their book religion, you know, their household would be Israel, even if they did not rule other people outside of their household, you know? And that's this thing, nobody's earned the name Israel yet, you know? There's not a prophet that searched for God's laws, or a Buddha, or a shaman, or whatever else you want to call it. An avatar, all the other ones, you know? None of them have connected to God and then searched for God's laws. And I think the reason is there needs to be trauma, you know what I mean? Because, you know, God's laws are something everybody wants, but when you experience trauma in your life, It's something you crave, you know? Like some people, Da Vinci, he craved science. Aesop, he craved philosophy, you know? The prophets, they crave God, you know what I mean? That's the thing, you know? But for a prophet to crave God's law, it's something you have to want, you know? You seek and you find kind of thing, you know? They have to experience trauma. And I think like a place like the Gaza Strip is really good for someone to earn the name Israel. And it doesn't have to be the word Israel. It could be a different word. It's just the meaning of the word Israel is someone who connects to the divine, can communicate with the divine, and also searches for their laws, you know what I mean? And then implements them around them. That's it. And in the Gaza Strip right now, many people have experienced a lot of trauma, you know, a lot of family death and things like that. And they're searching basically for God's law, you know, that causes you to search for God's law. Like, God, why are these people breaking your laws? You know, why, you know? And the same with on the Israeli side. It wasn't as bad as the Gaza side, like 1% of what Gaza got, but the people that got murdered on the family members that are murdered on the Israeli side, you know, even though it was smaller, way smaller, you know, it's could still cause some people in Israel, you know, if that was their mama, their family, their whole family, you know, maybe they seen it, something like that, or even if they didn't see it, it happened, you know. They can search for God laws too, you know. Trauma causes that kind of shit. Not every prophet searches for God's law to the effect someone needs to search for God's law to earn the name Israel. You know what I mean? You have to really search for it. I'm not going to do it because, you know, I'm just not. That's not my thing. My thing is just to teach the path. That's it. Say little things here and there that, you know, but that's it. Like if the country Israel truly was ran by somebody who earned the name Israel, you know, a lot of things would be different. I'm not going to get into it, but just imagine somebody that could communicate with God, you know. It'd be a war where nobody dies kind of thing. Stuff like that would go on, you know. There wouldn't even be talk of peace because it would just exist, you know. Peace would exist. It'd be a country where, you know, it's a woman who's on the path to God, where she covers her hair for modesty, you know, her whole life. She'll be able to go through Israel and wear her hijab, you know, or scarf, or whatever she wants to call it, you know, and nobody say nothing. And the woman who follows the path to God that doesn't have to color over her hair, but has to cover her breasts, she could walk through Israel covering her breasts with her hair out, you know? No problem. She's protecting her modesty just like the other woman, you know? And also in Israel, the native woman, she'd be able to walk around covering her private parts with her breasts out and her hair out. Walking around, you know? In Israel. Because it would be based on, you know, logic and not morals. You know what I mean? You follow your path to God, that's fine. Follow, as long as you follow the rules of based on logic, you know? Don't mess with nobody and don't mess with their shit. You know, don't mess with them or their shit, you know, and respect their morally based laws that they have for themselves, you know. Because, hey, a woman that wears a hijab, you know, if she takes it off, she gets the same feeling inside of her as the woman that walks around with her hair out all the time when that woman exposes her breast. She gets the same feeling inside, you know. A lot of people don't understand that. And the same thing with the native woman that covers her private parts with her breasts and her hair out and walks around. If she shows her private parts, she'll get the same feeling as a woman that showed her breasts and the same feeling as a woman that showed her hair. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't understand that, you know? But that's the truth. It's a modesty thing. It's a modesty thing. And it's a culture thing. And simply put, you know, you take someone from a country where you take a male from a country where they never see women's hair at all, you know? Women are always having their hair covered up all the time, you know? Then they come to a country where women have their hair out. This dude's gonna be walking around like, oh my God. And he's gonna have the same feeling as a woman or as a man that comes from a country where women have their hair out, like it's no big deal, you know? If you went to a country, a native country where all the women had their breast out, you'll be like, oh, wow, wow, wow. You get that same feeling, you know, because it's a culture thing. It's a culture thing. A lot of people don't understand that. It's not it's like a modesty thing. It's like this is the form of modesty that they, live by kind of thing. A lot of people don't understand that. I figured I'd just explain that at the very end.